The Quantar global currency. We no longer believe that the earth is flat. We no longer use the bloodletting of leeches to banish evil spirits. But we have had no reformation of our monetary system since the Middle Ages, with the creation of the Charter for the privately owned Bank of England in AD 1694. A bank charter which gave the bank the power to create money from nothing, to impose compound interest upon this money, and to demand taxation from the people to pay this interest. It was the imposition of privately owned usury upon the people. It was a charter designed to steal the world with a monetary unit created from nothing. It was a monetary system which made medieval bloodletting seem almost benign. However, it takes time to understand this debt-based monetary system, even in our modern era, for almost everything we are taught about finance comes straight from these medieval bankers, straight from a textbook borrowed from Davy Jones's locker of usury, where everything we know about money is nonsensical, such as money is debt. Unless a banker creates a loan, then we have no monetary supply. These are the laws of money, and there is no other way. The politicians also believe the texts of debt banking and pronounce their mantras of ignorance as if they are truths, such as, "Our nation has resources and skills, but no money, so we must borrow capital from the international debt markets. Our loans are fully funded by the taxation streams placed upon the people, so we are a responsible government." Or, "We would love to do these noble projects, but we have no money." It seems then that we all have to go through the process of monetarily turning ourselves vertically 180 degrees away from Davy Jones's locker of usury, so that we can realign ourselves into the concept of an asset-based monetary system, where the concept of money becomes simple, just a useful tool similar to a garden shovel, so that humanity can now continue upon its journey to awakening. It is also important to understand that when we talk about the nature of the creation of the monetary supply as asset or debt, that we are beyond the capitalism-communism divide, the struggle for the ownership of the business structures of our nations, for we are simply talking about the nature of the monetary supply itself, the monetary concept that Aristotle spoke of when he said, "Money is made for trade, not profit." So let us focus upon the monetary source, for there are only two ways our nation can create its monetary supply, either as a debt or as an asset. In a debt system, if you borrow $1 in the year 1500 AD at 6% compound interest, then your debt in 2015 AD will be $22.8 trillion, with $10 trillion arising in the last 10 years alone. Further, when the money supply is created with only 3% interest, then 40% of the final cost of retail products will be owed to the bankers as interest payments. And when personal and other income taxes are added, then fully 75% of the people's income, that is 15 out of every 20 years of the people's labour, is owed to the bankers. In this way, the people have only exchanged the iron chains of a slave for the monetary chains of a financial system created as debt with compound interest. So when a private debt banker talks of monetary freedom, be aware that he is only talking about his freedom to extract the very life force of your soul. However, in an asset-based monetary system, if you borrow $1 in 1500 AD at 0% compound interest, then your debt in 2015 AD will be only $1. So which system would you prefer? A debt monetary system or an asset monetary system? It is not a difficult choice, is it? Debt money is not only sociopathic, it also comes with the additional demons of inflation, interest and taxation. And we can suggest that if evil exists, then one of the greatest horses he rides is the creation of the monetary supply as debt. For in a debt monetary system, every transaction creates a shadow, which eventually plunges humanity into the dark vortex of usury. While every transaction in an asset system will create a quantar of light, which through time will reveal the incandescence of humanity. So take a moment to consider how different our world would be if the excess debt was removed from our financial system. Consider how it would change your life, your relationships, your lifestyle choices, your nation's pursuit of war. Consider how the removal of odious debt would have changed your family's lives, your parents' and grandparents' lives, and then you will begin to have the tiniest taste of the unbearable human burdens which the debt bankers have imposed upon our world. To discover a solution to our modern monetary predicament, we will need to return to the financial basics. We can imagine a simple scene where Mrs. T in Idaho needs her lawns mowed, but she has no money. John can mow her lawns, but Mrs. T has no money to pay him. John also wants a Japanese language lesson from a tutor in Tokyo, and the tutor wants a bag of vegetables from the local Tokyo market. The skills and resources are available, but we are gridlocked due to a lack of money. Mrs. T, John, the Japanese tutor, and the produce seller, however, could join the new digital currency Quantar, which uses Cyclos banking software, joining for an annual registration fee of $8, which creates a Quantar bank account with an initial credit of 500 Quantars. We can note that the base Quantar wage rate is 10 Quantars per hour, so 500 Quantars is 50 base Quantar hours of work. This is quite a bargain for only $8. These four people can now trade their skills and resources for one another using Quantar currency based upon an agreed hourly measure. It is difficult to imagine even one good reason why these four people would not sign up to the Quantar concept if it was available, and if we assume that this is true, then we can predict that there are also another 7 billion potential Quantar traders awaiting for the opportunity to join Quantar. So 7 billion times the annual registration fee of $8 is $56 billion, plus the t-shirt sales, plus additional services, so the potential Quantar income streams are huge. The concept is really far bigger even than Facebook, which began as only a few personal profiles upon a single university campus. Quantar then only requires a group of like-minded people to begin the monetary concept, to enter the world's financial marketplace to see if a single snowflake of an asset-based monetary system can start an avalanche of redemption within the debt markets. I suspect, from the time Quantar reaches 50,000 members, that it will only take 5 years to change the world. Further, this presentation of Quantar is only an initial concept, and the group mind could modify Quantar into any format of choice. We can suggest then that the Quantar concept is based upon the principle that if money is created in a sociopathic way, then the people will be forced into sociopathic states of being. However, if money is created in an authentic way, as an asset with integrity, then the people will live with authentic states of being. In a modern national asset-based monetary system then, money would not be created as a debt held in private hands, but as an asset controlled by the institutions of democracy. It would be created in a similar way to the waters of a lake, relatively eternal, self-existing, and owing its nature to no one. The lake would simply dwell as a potential power source, which can be released in the correct amounts to irrigate the fields and to supply the electrical needs of the town, causing neither flood nor drought, neither greed nor poverty. This monetary lake would exist so that even if the entire panorama of human resources and physical treasures of the earth, projected ahead for the next millennia, was monetized and created as a vast lake, not one ripple of inflation would occur if the waters were released in only sufficient amounts to meet the natural needs of the people, moving in harmony with the earth and their personal quests for fulfillment. These waters of the lake would also continually recycle, so that the people are freed from the yokes of debt, taxation, interest, and inflation, creating an underlying peace, for it is the bitter taste of debt which often veils the sweetness of existence. In the presence of this monetary lake, the concept of having no capital for the people to access, to have austerity and hunger, would be an absurdity, a manipulation of the profound underlying abundance of cosmic law. We can suggest now that throughout human history, the real money supply has been the life force of the people, and that all monetary systems are simply ways of organizing this life force into a financial structure. Historically, then, we have often created our financial systems based upon the iron chains of the slave, or the monetary chains of financialized debt. But why not use human life force itself as the measure for money? This solution avoids all the dilemmas of commodity currency, debt money, the borrowing of capital as debt from international bankers, and the problem of the availability of revenue streams for our national governments. We could call such a modern-day monetary system the Quantar, after the nature of quantum light, and it is a system which would use the limitless treasure of the human body psyche as its unit of currency. This Quantar currency would free humanity from our contracted historical forms of finance, which have usually involved a sociopathic financial class loaning the people their own life force with the imposition of interest as the sociopath's profit stream. But how could we quantify human life force as a scientific monetary measure, which is naturally understood by the human mind? When Western science was faced with the dilemma of finding a cosmic constant for linear distance, it chose the speed of light. The speed of light is the distance light travels within a vacuum in 1 second, a distance defined as 299,792,458 units or meters. We can now measure the historical monetary unit of human life force, used for 4 million years of human hunter-gatherer existence, when measured by the speed of light, as the distance an average human of 80 kilograms, walking at the normal speed of 5 kilometers an hour, will cover in a time of 1 hour, that is 5,000 meters. We can call this unit 10 quantars, and it is a measure which we all intuitively understand, for even our modern workforce is still paid as an hour of time and work. We are calling this monetary unit the Quantar, and it is a measure of human physiology, time, and the speed of light. It is also a unit which can be converted into calories or a myriad of other measurements. The name Quantar also indicates that we are working with asset money, the light side of the yin-yang continuum, and that we are trading a sacred aspect of the cosmos, a sacred aspect which links thousands of years of human wisdom to the changing fields of modern consciousness. The Quantar concept then is an educational device designed to explore the nature of asset banking, a system which does not require the vampiric existence of a debt banker to stand between the people, their natural life force, and the treasures of the world. To change the world, then, we need to simply change the nature of money, to find a higher octave of finance. And if 10 people understand this monetary concept and transmit it to 10 further people, then with only 10 repetitions of this monetary chain, the entire planet would be introduced to a new monetary concept which could revolutionize our world. It would be a monetary revolution arising from perhaps 3 stages of awakening. Firstly, from the understanding that our current monetary system is nothing more than a medieval swindle, a crime scene of usury. Secondly, through the creation of a movement towards the freedom of a modern-day monetary jubilee, the extinguishment of debt, through the legal concepts of fiduciary duty, the laws of contracts, odious debt, and legal equity. Thirdly, through the creation of a fully functional modern asset-based monetary system, such as the Quantar. Perhaps then we will have finally listened to Sir J.R. Stamp, the former director of the Bank of England, who said in AD 1927, "The modern banking system manufactures money out of nothing. The process is perhaps the most astonishing piece of sleight of hand that was ever invented. Bankers own the earth. Take it away from them, but leave them the power to create money, and, with a stroke of a pen, they will create enough money to buy it back again. But if you want to continue to be the slaves of the bankers and pay the cost of your own slavery, then let bankers continue to create money and control credit." Welcome then to the Quantar, a financial pathway to a light-based universe and a new monetary paradigm to change our world.